Because if Vanguard Zombies is the standard going forward, I am very worried for the future of this game. Alright, Season 5 of Vanguard and Warzone is here. We're finally into the end game for Vanguard, and we're also finally officially into like pre-release season for Modern Warfare 2. We've got Call of Duty Now, or Next, or whatever it's called, in a week or two. We've got the betas a few weeks after that, and then a month or so after the betas, we've got the full release for Modern Warfare 2. Although that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about Vanguard and Call of Duty in like general, but we're mainly here for Vanguard. Now, I know this channel is mainly like a zombies channel, and don't worry, there is going to be like a lot of zombies talk, but I am also going to talk about just like Vanguard and Call of Duty in general. So I'm going to put like a timestamp on screen, or like one of those like segment things in the video. So if you do just want to skip straight towards like all the zombie stuff, you can. But I do want to talk just about Call of Duty and just Vanguard in general for a bit. And first and foremost is mainly just how have we got to a point where we're just expecting disappointment from a game year in, year out. It's not good. It's not good. We're at a place where I feel like every year Call of Duty rolls around, we start getting all the trailers, people start getting excited, but I feel like there's always a part of all of us in the back of our head where we're like, you know what, this might not be that good, you know. And I feel like this train really started with like the back end of Ghosts, but we're not gonna go back that far. Like I feel like once like the golden age for Call of Duty ended with like Black Ops 2, and Call of Duty started finally going in this downward spiral, and then we went through the exo movement phase, and then this like trifecta of studios putting out a game every 3 years. Like that's when I feel like the game started like falling off a cliff a little bit, but not like a steep like straight sudden drop. It's like a very slow gradual curve. But then, you know, they picked themselves back up again. They started going back up the hill, but then they got drop kicked off and just fell straight to the bottom with Cold War and Vanguard. But you know, there's a lot to unpack there. I know people are always like ready to just point the blame at anyone and everyone for when Call of Duty is doing poorly, but I do think the main point of blame, especially for the last couple of years, and I know we like supporting our companies and like our game devs, but Sledgehammer Games just haven't been it with Call of Duty the last couple of games. Now, they can make incredible games. Advanced Warfare is proof of that. That game was phenomenal, and I will fight anyone and everyone who disagrees. The game is almost perfect for me, but they've shown the last 2 or 3 years that they're just not a competent company when it comes to Call of Duty. The fact that Cold War, the year Cold War released, was supposed to be a Sledgehammer game. That was supposed to be Sledgehammer's year, and Treyarch get pulled in to help with the production by Activision, and then Activision are like, do you know what, actually Treyarch, you take full control. Sledgehammer, you can be moved off to the side and start working on something else. And then Treyarch have essentially had to go from creating what was supposed to be their AAA title for what was the game that came out in Vanguard's place, if that makes sense, and then had to support Cold War for a year, make a game, in fact, in what, like a year, 18 months, and then support that game for a year after that, when they probably didn't have much content planned or like any resources to actually start putting time and effort into supporting that game. And then like a couple of months before Vanguard release, getting pulled into another project that's not theirs to support that once again with Vanguard Zombies. And now we're finally into like a stage where I feel like that company can take a break. They can take a much needed break and a much earned break, because I feel like that company's not stopped working since like 2016, right? Like when they probably start production of Black Ops 4, that game comes out, they then support that game for a year, you know, and then probably around 2019 they probably have like a little break, but then they start working on their actual game for what was supposed to be 2021's release. That then gets pulled because they then get told to do all this other stuff, and now they're finally at a position, Vanguard is done, it's over, it's finished, where I feel like that company can finally just take a break. You know, they can try and actually get their heads in the right like mind space to start making a proper good Call of Duty. You know, we're going into this new deal with Microsoft. 2024's release is supposed to be the first game for that like actual new contract and new run of games, and it's a Treyarch game. It's a Treyarch year. It's their time to shine, hopefully, again, and to hopefully maybe bring Call of Duty back into like a much better light with Treyarch, basically. I know obviously a lot of us are loving Infinity Ward right now, myself included. Modern Warfare 2019 is easily a top 3 Call of Duty in my opinion. I think Modern Warfare 2 that comes out in like 2 months is also going to be up there with one of the best. But Treyarch and Sledgehammer have just been jacked around so much the last couple of years. I think, you know, a lot of it does come down to Sledgehammer not being as competent as what a lot of us would like, but also Activision having such a high demand and for quality and, you know, content and whatever else that they want, constantly money, basically. What I'm trying to say, they just want like a constant flow of money and constant things happening that generate them money. And I just don't feel like Sledgehammer have been able to provide that at like a decent basis. And Treyarch obviously know the business, they know the market, they know how to like actually make a game that generates a lot of money throughout the year, so they've brought them in to support them, and it's just not gone very well. And yeah, it's led us to a point where we have a game that is... We've had a couple of games, you know, obviously Modern Warfare 2019, I think... I know, so I'm like I'm talking about all this, and I'm not even telling you what I'm basing this on. Basically, the way I'm thinking about it is like, I'm kind of like basing all of like what Sledgehammer have done over the last couple of years on their two previous titles in the Call of Duty franchise, being Advanced Warfare and World War II. And then also comparing them to like the previous two titles in the actual franchise, being Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War. You know, we know Sledgehammer can make a good game. Advanced Warfare is a good game. It's a very, very good game. They played the market very well that year. They obviously earned a lot of money with that game. It was a very, very successful game, and it was a very, very good game in all aspects. The campaign was good. The multiplayer was good. The zombies was good. You know, it was good. It brought in loot boxes, which I know a lot of people weren't happy about, but it generated a lot of revenue, which is good in the grand scheme of things. You know, then World War II comes along, and it's not that good. The campaign was phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, the campaign was phenomenal. The multiplayer, very, very, very lackluster, very boring. Zombies, also very lackluster. The first map, Final Reich, was phenomenal, and I will not let anyone say otherwise against that map. The rest of it, though, yeah, not so much. But Final Reich, phenomenal. Multiplayer, kind of a dud. And it's kind of very much the same with Vanguard. You know, the campaign, very forgettable. Very, very pretty looking. Story was okay, but at the end of the day, very, very forgettable. Zombies, which we'll talk about in a bit, is just awful. And I'm not gonna lie, I do think the multiplayer is the best part of Vanguard. I know a lot of people are gonna hate hearing that, but the multiplayer isn't necessarily that bad. Yeah, sure, the maps are a little wonky, the spawns are bad, it's a lot of like rehashed content, remastered maps, remade maps, whatever, but at the end of the day, the multiplayer isn't inherently that bad. It's not incredible. It's a 5 out of 10. It's bang average, right down the middle. You know, it'll do for like an hour, maybe 2, but like you're not sitting there playing for 8 hours like you would. It's like MW2 or Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2. You know, you're putting an hour in, and then you're gonna do whatever else. But zombies. You know, the game mode that we all know and love. Game mode that I play a lot of. I love myself. Has been pretty bad this year. And like, I know a lot of people, I see a lot of people always talking shit about Cold War. I love that game. I think it's probably the best zombies like experience for gameplay. I think the maps are a bit meh, but the actual like gameplay, the actual act of getting a gun, shooting zombies, and having that progression through the rounds, and even through the progression in the menus, like there's actual level progression, is the best we've ever seen for zombies, right? I know the maps aren't great, I know the story wasn't great, but the actual act of just playing the game, picking up a gun, shooting some zombies, it's the best we've ever seen. It is. I know a lot of people always bring the argument up of it's easy, it's boring, it's dull, it's blah 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 blah. Like, they rectified all those issues months ago with the rampage inducer or rage inducer, whatever it's called. It actually makes the game difficult from the get-go. There's not this like 20 rounds of slow-moving, pretty dull, boring zombies. You can just get straight into it with like round 50 S zombies on round 1. It's an entertaining game. It's an enjoyable game. It's a good game. I enjoy it, and the progression is so good. It's something that I myself have been dying for in a zombies game. Having like a class for your guns where like, all right, we've got assault rifles, you can level them up so your assault rifles are better. You've got these extra enhancements that you can then level up and make them better. You've got all these, you can level up your perks through a different way. Like, it was so good. I wanted more of that. I was expecting more of that coming in to Vanguard. I was very, very much looking forward to being able to craft my own kits more in detail, more in tune with the way I want to play the game. I was looking forward to being able to like progress all my stuff to like this really high-end level that's going to take me ages to do it, and I just didn't get that. It like we took like 4 steps forward with Cold War, but then took like 8 steps back with Vanguard. Like, I don't understand what happened. I mean, I do understand what happened is, you know, Activision saw game mode in the objectives Outbreak, and they thought, you know what, this is successful, it's new, it's bringing in the same amount of players as the round-based is, we're going to focus on that. But I feel like a lot of the numbers were skewed because a lot of people were just using Outbreak because it was way easier than the actual round-based maps. People could level their guns for Warzone. Obviously, it was a much more relaxed, chilled experience that you didn't have to, like, honestly pay that much attention to. You could go in, you could level your guns, you could play a bit, you could get out. It was simple. You got a lot more XP you got a lot more XP for your guns in Outbreak. You got a lot more XP in general in Outbreak, and I feel like those numbers were heavily skewed because of that fact. And going forward, they obviously looked at those numbers and were like, hey, you know what we fucking love? It's money. You know what game mode's new and bringing in loads of people? Outbreak and objective zombies. You know what I'm thinking? We're gonna make fucking money. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It was the complete opposite. They put out a very, 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 very piss poor attempt at zombies into Anfang. It had no content. It had literally nothing. It was just a multiplayer map with some portals and more multiplayer maps with some zombies and some very, very boring, simple objectives to complete, with like a half-assed remake of Shinonuma in there as well. Like, it was bad. It was poor. There was no progression in like the levels. There was literally nothing. Like, all of the good, juicy stuff they had in Cold War, they just removed it all. Every single bit of it. It was gone. No wonder weapons, no progression through your perks in the menus, no progression through your field upgrades in the menus. There was nothing. The camo, my god, the mastery camo is so bad. Like, everything about it was just so incredibly poor. And then they go and do the exact same thing with Terra Maledicta, and it's the exact same thing. Okay, they added a wonder weapon. Cool. It's a shield. Very boring. Literally, like, no use. Hardly any use. Has a cool character behind it. You know, I will admit, I do think the personality of the shield, the way it talks to you, the fact it's got a demon in it and whatever, that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. The Easter egg in general for that map, also very, very, very poor. Shoot a couple crystals, shoot a couple zombies. That's basically all you need to do for the entire Easter egg. And then Shinonuma comes along. They give us a remastered map for the 5th time, I must add. The 5 times we've had Shinonuma in some aspect in Call of Duty Zombies, and it's just not enough. I will admit, I did think Shinonuma Reborn was good. I did think it was enjoyable enough. It was a lot of fun for like the first couple of days, and then obviously the realization that it's just Shinonuma hidden. I was playing a map that I've been playing since 2009, Jesus Christ, not even in the 2010s, 2009 that map came out. And, you know, it's what, 13 years old this year. It's an old map that's been remastered a whole bunch of times. We know it inside and out. They did add a little teeny tiny area to it to try and spice it up a little bit. Didn't really do that. They brought back the Wonder Waff, which is cool. It was very, very lackluster, I thought, in terms of like the actual weapon, but it was cool. And there was an Easter egg. There was an actual Easter egg that, you know, it wasn't just like a brain dead Easter egg as well. There actually was like a little bit of thinking involved. There was a little bit of like figuring stuff out involved. It was a decent step in the right direction. It wasn't like incredible. You know, we finally like branched out of the 5s, maybe into like the 6s. No higher, but like we were going in an upward trajectory. We were going in the right direction. And then recently the Archon comes out, which was what, it's been out now a couple of days, and they once again, they take 2 steps forward and then take 4 steps back, and it's just, we're back at square one. We're back with a map that's very lackluster, no originality, no personality, there's nothing. It's Terra Maledicta without the objectives and round based. That's it. They took the Wonder Waffle from Shinonuma, they put it in there, the decimated shield's back, but it's Terra Maledicta without the objectives. That's all it is, and it's not enough. It's not good. It's not good. It's really not the quality that a studio as good at their job as Sledgehammer is can put out, and as Treyarch is, sorry, like they can put out. I know Treyarch are better than this. I know obviously they've probably got limited resources and limited time, but like at the end of the day, it's just not enough. And it does have me very worried, because if Vanguard Zombies is the standard going forward, I am very worried for the future of this game. Now we've talked about Vanguard. You know, we all know that game is bad. It is just bad. It's a very very bad experience for zombies. It's appalling. But I want to talk about the future. I want to talk about what might be to come. And obviously, there's a lot of rumors flying around the zombies scene. There has been for a lot of months. First and foremost is Zombie Chronicles 2. I don't think it's gonna happen at all. I was very excited. There's a little time where I thought it might actually be happening, and I was very excited, but then it very quickly went away. But I just don't think it's gonna happen. And also, secondly, is this standalone zombies experience. I just don't think either one of those two things are going to come to fruition. If they do, awesome, that's sick. I'll happily eat my own words, but I don't think we're gonna see those ever. I think Zombie Chronicles is more likely. I think it will cost less. It will earn them more money for like a quick cash grab, but I just don't think they're gonna put that time and effort into a project when they have a AAA game to put out in 2 years. You know, it's the exact same reason why I just don't think this standalone zombies game is gonna happen. I don't think a company, because it's gonna be Treyarch making it, obviously. They might have help from Raven or whoever else, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be a Treyarch product. I just can't see a company putting all that time and effort into a project that will be a AAA quality for next year as a standalone one-off game, and then also be working on an actual full AAA experience for Call of Duty that will have zombies in anyway. You're crazy if you think 2024 Call of Duty is not going to have zombies. It'll probably have a campaign, have Warzone support, even though that'll be done by Raven, and it'll have multiplayer. Like, there is no way in hell a company is going to be dragged through hell by Activision, told to, you know, remake this entire game in like a year and a half, support this game that they probably didn't want to do, and then put out another AAA title game in 2 years, as well as then also working on a standalone zombies game. It's just, you're high if you think it's happening. It's not. Like I said, I will be very, very shocked. I will eat my own words if it does happen, but like, there is just so many like odds weighed against it not happening. The fact that it's going to cost them so much money, the money as well that's going to be put into it. I don't think a game like that is going to generate money throughout like its entire like life cycle. Yeah, it will generate money at launch, don't get me wrong. It'll probably sell very well, but it's not going to last. You know, it'll have like a week, 2 weeks of like a high player base, and then everything will just disappear. You know, it won't make money through an entire year. They won't like make a return on their investment. They won't make profit off their investment going forward, probably, because they're obviously going to support it throughout a year. I doubt the game would have a lot of players throughout an entire 12-month period. I doubt the game would be very, honestly, good as well, if we're being real. I think a lot of people would see a Call of Duty standalone zombies game, go, oh, that's sick, play it for a week, and go, oh, this is kind of boring, because there's literally nothing else to do. That was a waste of money. I'm then gonna go shout at Treyarch and all these other companies on Twitter, make them feel really bad about it, and then go forward to the next thing. I just don't see it happening. I think it's a pipe dream is what it is, and I think a lot of people have had this dream about a standalone zombies game for literally a decade. They've seen this little morsel, this little tiny little speck that it could be happening. They've latched onto it. They've grabbed onto it as hard as they can. They've just kept the hold, and they're not going to let go. They're just not going to let go. They're dead set that this is happening, but it probably won't, because I just don't think it's a smart investment for a company to make a game like that. And I think Activision realized that. And I think obviously, because at the moment they are still the head of the operation, they still say what happens and what doesn't happen, and they'll probably look at that and go, absolutely not. There's no way we're spending money on this just for it to blow up in our face and for us to lose money, because, you know, that's what Activision's all about. They're a company, they're a business at the end of the day. They like their money. They do make a lot of it. Don't get me wrong, but they always want to be making more. They don't ever want to be spending as much as what they earn. It's as simple as that. And obviously, I know people will go like, "Well, Warzone earns billions." Yeah, but they're not gonna look at the earnings Warzone makes and go, "Oh yeah, we can afford this." They're gonna look at the earnings the actual game makes and goes, "Okay, the earnings we get, the profit we get from this game, we're then gonna put back into the game." And I just don't think that a standalone zombies experience will generate that profit going forward. It just won't. Like I said, it will sell. It'll be a wildfire on sale. It will sell a lot of copies, don't get me wrong, but going forward it will not generate money. It just won't, and I don't see that happening. I don't see them supporting a risk like that. I don't see it happening. I would love it if it happened. I don't think it will. And I know this is like a lot of rambling, because it is, you know, it's a lot of very frustrated words. It's a lot of just like thoughts and opinions. I haven't written a script for this. I'm literally just talking and hoping what I say makes sense. But yeah, we're in this period now where 2 years, it's a long time. It's a long time with no guaranteed zombies content. And I am worried for the future of zombies. I'm not necessarily worried for like the content in the future. I do have a lot of plans in mind for myself. You know, I'm gonna still stick with the content I make, the challenges on all the Call of Duty games that I do. You know, I'm gonna make a little bit more Vanguard content. I've got a few challenge ideas in mind. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of content on BO3. God, I still can't believe we're gonna be close to 8, 9, 10 years and that game's still going to be the main thing for zombies content. That is just, oh my god, I hate that. I hate that so much. But it's, you know what, I'm dwelling on it, so we're gonna move forward. Like, you know, there's a lot of ideas rambling around in my head. I'm gonna branch out into Modern Warfare, especially when that game comes out. I've got a lot of multiplayer ideas in my head that I want to do. Like, if you know the challenges I do in zombies, think of that, but multiplayer. I don't think I'm gonna branch out into Warzone. There's like 1,010,000,000 people trying to do that. I just, no. Nope, don't want to do it. I also think I'm gonna branch out as well in the future. Dead Island 2, I'm definitely gonna be making content on that when that comes around. But like, anyway, you know, this is about Call of Duty. The future of Call of Duty, it does worry me. It does, mainly for zombies. You know, 2 years without it is a long time. It would be the biggest break for zombies we've ever had, I think. I think the longest we've ever usually had is a year. I think 2 years is going to be jarring for a lot of people. I think a lot of people who only play zombies are going to really realize just how miserable it is playing the old games constantly all the time. I think a lot of people are going to forget about zombies. I'm not going to lie. I do think a lot of people are just going to forget about it. I think there's going to be a lot of people that just play zombies every now and then that are just never going to play it ever again, probably after this period. I do think the zombies in general is going to take a big hit, because obviously it is still the third game mode. It is still like the one that's just kind of there. Yes, it has its own very strong community, but like, it's nowhere near as big as multiplayer. It's definitely nowhere near as big as Warzone. It is still just the third game mode. And yeah, that does have me a little bit worried going forward. I do hope the standard changes, and it changes drastically. I do hope Treyarch in the future come out swinging. I don't want them to come out swinging like they did with BO4, because even though they put out a lot of content in that, it was a lot there, but like, it was very shallow. I want them to drop 1, maybe 2 maps like they did with BO3, and just put like they're all into it again. I don't care if it's a new story. I don't care if it's an old story. I don't care what they do. I just want good content. I want BO3 level maps and lore with Cold War mechanics. That's what I want. I just put them both together. Give me a mashup. Give me all the progression and all the fun that was Cold War, but give me the maps and the quality of BO3, and I will be a very, very happy human being. And I think a lot of people will be very happy with that as well. But, you know, it's all just ifs and buts. Hopeless praise, I guess. I guess we're just gonna have to wait. 2024. It's a long time away. It's a long time. It's it's gonna be a long wait for a lot of people. Yeah. God, what a shithole Vanguard's been, huh?